Ashik is the first one to get himself a time on the board. Masood, sorry, I should say, Hartley, is on track as well. He's joined us, of course, as a reserve for this one. Pieso has joined as well. Good start getting himself into the lobby, and yeah, hopefully Vitor can get himself back in as well. I'm not sure where he's gone, but hopefully he can jump back in quickly. But yeah, Masood Hartley there joining us for the 5th race, of course, as a reserve for tonight. But of course, potentially down the line can get himself a full-time seat. The likes of Reza, Sheik, and Mohammed have done that very recently. So yeah, looking forward to see what they can do. As it looks like the people who are having trouble trying to join the lobby, join the session. I think they just need to pick their cars once they get in, and then they are allocated a seat, allocated their position on the starting grid. I should say. But there we go. Then we've got only a few drivers out on track at the moment. I think some people decided not to take part in the qualifying. Driver choosing the Genesis GR3 car. It looks like so far Dan Murphy in his McLaren, of course. Hodgson has decided to go out on track. He's got a new livery on that car, on the new car as well entirely. So yeah, it looks like Vitor has joined back in as well. Good stuff indeed. And yeah, soon we'll be back. We'll be underway, sorry, for the race. But of course, first, drivers got a few laps to set their sights, of course, and then get a qualifying lap in as well. The fastest lap that they set in this qualifying session will of course be the order they set that they start on the grid. Of course, if they don't set time, we start on further back. But we've got some there going off into the distance here, right? A bit of trouble there. Pieso is in his Dodge Viper, and Vitor in the Toyota Supra tonight, so good stuff indeed from him. Let's have a look and see what his livery is like. It's a Pokemon themed livery, very nice indeed from him. We've got a Genesis GR3 that's stuck in the wall, it looks like, so hopefully he can get himself fished out of it. But Vitor there with a very nice livery indeed. Thank you very much, Vitor, for spicing up the liveries as well tonight. It looks like it might have been, I don't know, into the M&M themed Suzuki is Angel as well. Very nice indeed, very hungry, very hungry of course. And yeah, Pieso and it's something it's Mason, Masood Hartley there, just coming through, getting past Vitor there, who's just getting out of the way of drivers coming through. But yeah, like I said, got a couple more people in the lobby as well now. Good stuff indeed. I think there might be still a couple more to join as well. But yeah, good stuff from everybody who's jumped in. Reza, of course, customarily has put himself on the top step in the qualifying format already. 1:38.737 is the time to beat. He's got a very nice golf themed livery there on his Toyota Hyundai, I should say. Yeah, not sure that works in terms of the company plan, but nonetheless, I think Dan Murphy might be having a word there very shortly as well, having had a look at the golf livery on his McLaren 650S. I think Reza has had a look at that and pinched that off of him. But yeah, nonetheless, looking very nice in that Genesis GR3 as well. But yeah, like I said, this one is basically just setting their sights in now at the moment. We'll have a quick look as well at the stand, shall we? As we've got for the GT7 League. Of course, Reza's points have been added, I should say, to the standings as well after his excellent reserve performances in the previous 4 rounds, I should say. So currently, it is Hodgson who leads the way with 52 points. The point scoring system is a slightly different to the F1 scoring system that we use. Obviously, for the F1 grid, it's Pieso was having a bit of trouble trying to keep that car on track, it looks like. But like I said, so it's 15 points for a win. 15 points for a win, 12 for second, and then 10 for third, and then it goes all the way down to the 10th place league 1 point. So at the moment, Hodgson leads the way with 52 points in his Subaru, but I think he might have changed that. We saw him in a different car, I think, today. He's in the box car. I can't remember what it's called now. It's the Skyline, I think it is. So we saw that with one minivans along with that in a previous race or so. Then we got Reza, of course, added to the grid for this race, and of course he's wrapped up with 51 points in his Genesis GR3. Luckily, he's sticking with his Genesis car as well, which is good standing for me to try and sort that out. So good stuff indeed from him. And he's 51 points, 1 point behind Hodgson as well. So those two we saw battling out last week in the French Riviera of Alsace, in the Alsace village. We saw Reza and Hodgson there battling to the very last lap, to the very last straight, I think it was as well, in terms of the finishing lap as well, where we saw, I think Hodgson won by, it was quarter of a second, I think it was. In the end, a quarter of a second, Hodgson to Reza in the last and the finish of the last race, which was absolutely epic. So yeah, I recommend going back to watch that one because it was an intense one all the way through. And I didn't have a clue what was going on with strategies until we literally got to the final lap, I think, pretty much. So that was that. So yeah, Reza there puts himself up into P2. Dan Murphy doing a great job there in his McLaren, that's it. He is on 29 points. 23 points off the lead, but he's been very consistent throughout the season so far. The first 4 rounds, I should say, getting himself into P3 in the standings as well. Then we've got Ramsel, who's unfortunately not here tonight, I don't think, in his GT1 as well, on 25 points. DJ as well, having a bit of a resurgence there in his DJ, in his Ford Mustang now, 25 points. So only 1 point behind Ramsel to the fourth. J Marks there in the Beetle, V Todd in the RX division, which I think has changed again for tonight. Yes, he has. He's super now, isn't it, of course? So I'll have to make that understanding. And the next game, where unfortunately having a bit of trouble turning up for the races on the last couple of races. And many rounds are there as well as this far now. So we've got German case again. You might see it in the standings, which are available on the Discord. So if you're in the Discord, you can standings as well. Rightio, so we've only a few more minutes left of the practice session. It doesn't look like Balpanasso, Hodgson or Dan Murphy, or DJ as well, included in that Mustang there. We can see, have a look at his Coca-Cola themed livery once he gets out on the track, hopefully. But yeah, like I said, a few drivers there just getting their eyes in, having a bit of a practice laps as well. Looks like being told they're trying to keep it on track, and it just about does. And looks like almost lost that to great car control there to keep it on track. But they must have caught it all as never again. Beat on there. Of course, like I said, in the Pokemon themed livery there, in the Pokemon themed Supra. So looking very good indeed, in my opinion. So yeah, I think a few livery changes. Unfortunately for Hartley there, he's gone very plain. We don't like it at all. So he needs to change that for the next race. And then Sheep there is got the same livery as the so no changes to him, unfortunately. It looks like Mohammed has gone for a slight change there. He's updated it because of course we saw Mohammed there with I think he was just put his name on the side of the car in the third round, which was very bland. Now we've got a bit more entertainment from the livery side of things, and I think here we go with Balpanasso. That was a very nice livery indeed. I can't see that there's a brand or a theme to it, but it looked absolutely incredible indeed. So good stuff from Balpanasso, getting a very nice livery onto that Dodge Viper. See what he can do, of course, in the race, which will be taking part in very shortly. So like I said, I think we had about 10 minutes on the practice session so far. Reza is currently the fastest man on the track as well, so that is good stuff from Reza. So we'll be underway for the 1 hour endurance race, which I mentioned before. We've got 1 hour to go of the race. Once that starts, it is literally a shootout until that 1 hour mark has been reached. And then, of course, whichever point of the lap you're on, finish that lap is your final lap. Is the classification done and dusted when you cross the checker flag, regardless of where you start the lap. When that hour mark is done, that is the final lap. Doesn't matter which if you're on lap 1 or lap 22. Speaking of lap times, we're on a 1:38 roughly, so say 1:40. We're going to be looking at approximately 25 laps, I should say, maybe 26 at a push, I imagine. No, we're going to get more than that, I should say, because it's less than 2 minutes, rather than over 2 minutes. Getting the match wrong as per usual. So yeah, we're mainly looking at 36 laps, I should say, maybe 35 around there, something like that. Just to complete before we get to that hour mark as well. So like I said, we'll be underway in about 3 minutes time now. We just saw DJ there put in the warning for the drivers that we've only got 4 minutes left, and that was about a minute ago. So we've got like I said, 3 more minutes left of the practice/qualifying format, and we'll be into the race very, very shortly. Oh, into the wall there though goes Sheep there, not going too nicely through the double chicane there. You can see Beaton appearing in the background as well. Beaton looking for the trying to chase down the other Genesis of Sheep. Get himself well through. But like I said, it's going so well for the guys to take part in qualifying, of course. And then looks like they're deciding not to get out on track just yet. But we'll see how they performance in the race, because that is where they get the points. Just like F1, there is no points for qualifying in GT7. It's all about what you do in the race event. Then. So, like I said, I think we're very, very close. I think we're going to be starting at about 9:15 when the race starts. So, less than 2 minutes now to go before the start of the race. So these guys are getting their final qualifying lap, their final lap of practice as well, just so they can at least get to grip with the track, get themselves all set up and get themselves ready for the beginning of this race, which is coming up very, very shortly. So, there's that. Is back out on track. He hasn't been able to improve just yet on his fastest lap so far. 77 is hit himself nicely. What's going on there then in that case? Let's see if that's better. Oh, we've got a spinning Genesis GR3 car there. A bit of a problem there. We'll leave it at that then. I'll move the mic closer to my mouth. That might help as well. Good evening to Serious Mushroom in the comment section as well. Thank you very much for joining us as well for this lovely GT7 race. I should say, V Todd there up into the fastest time on the board so far. Good stuff from him as well. Although Reza has, I think, eclipsed that. No, he hasn't, unfortunately, for Reza, that is. But V Todd there doing a great job there. He's liking this circuit, it looks like. V Todd there, a 1:38.260. Reza is on track though, so he might be looking to try and beat that time now. Let's see what he can do at this stage of the race, but of the qualifying stage. I think we're just about to finish the qualifying now. So yeah, we should be underway for the race very, very shortly. Right then, I think we're about to get started very soon. So, like I said, we're going to get cracking right now. Here we go. We're loading in now. So we have got V Todd on pole, Reza in second, Masood in P3, Payaso in P4, Ashik P5, Mohammed P6, Angel there in P7, Hodgson in P8, didn't set a time, neither did DJ in P9 or Dan Murphy in P10. The lights are starting now. Here we go then. The 5 red lights in Croatia are on, and the 5 red lights in Croatia are off. Let's have a look from further back then with Bao Payaso with a great start there, getting through the order. He's going to get into the lead of this race, I think, from the get-go, as V Todd has lost the lead already from before the first corner. Reza there is getting close indeed to the back of that Toyota, but he's not having any contact. Thankfully, they've all got through cleanly. It looks like so far. Bao Payaso with a fantastic start there from P4 on the grid all the way up to P1 already, and looking very, very threatening to the drivers around him. But of course, strategy will come into the fold in this one. Of course, there might be different strategies, tyre compounds. I'll look down the order to see where everyone else is. DJ's dropped down the back there, as Hodgson there in his lovely Skyline Super silhouette is having a bit of trouble. They're trying to get through the order as well, I think. But everyone biding their time. It's taking it easy on the beginning lap of this one, of course, because like I said, it is an easy track to lose the car on, and you don't want to have any extra risks when you're going side by side with somebody. So there we go. Bao Payaso now taking the lead very nicely indeed. Good stuff. We didn't need to run that. There we go. Good stuff indeed as well. But V Todd there will be looking to come back. We can see there the reason why. We can see where the reason why Bao Payaso got such a good start was he's starting on the racing softs here, looking to go faster. He's drifting it around the chicane there. It looks like he's lost it there on the exit there. Reza's I think he's gone into the wall. Unfortunately, there it looks like a bit of damage there for V Todd. V Todd was collected by that. Unfortunately, there. So that will be unfortunately a bit of damage as well to that car as well. It looks like for V Todd. Unfortunately, there Mohammed there having to get past and avoid the incident, as I think V Todd will be having to come into the pits now on that one. And yeah, that was unfortunately down to the incident from Bao Payaso there, who literally just drove into that chicane too fast. He took too much speed, and that has cost him massively. Now Bao Payaso, I think he's got damage as well. and will have to come into the pits. He has got damage on that car as well, so unfortunately for VTOD, he is into repair the car, thankfully. But we've seen he has the pace in the practice, so hopefully he can get that car back out on track quickly, and can get after the likes of the rest of the grid. He's now 20 seconds or so behind, but like I said, over the time of a lap, I would expect him to be able to catch up in that time as well, because he's got the pace we saw from that in qualifying as well. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what he can do. Masood is in the pits, as is Babpanasso, getting that car repaired, and Ashik is also in the pits. I think he might have been connected as well in that situation that we had from Babpanasso. But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, just needs to make sure he keeps the car on track, does Babpanasso, to avoid that sort of thing happening in the future, of course. Like I said, we've now got Reza there taking the lead. Of course, he was in P3 behind VTOD and Babpanasso when they had that incident, and now Reza takes control of the 6.5 seconds ahead now of DJ, who's got himself up into P2. Good start there from DJ, very clean and calm start coming through the chicane now, as he's been followed by Mohammed. Dan Murphy got himself up into P4, but Hodgson coming through as well now in P5. So both the drivers who started right at the back of the grid having a bit of a torrid time in the qualifying have now got themselves into the top half. VTOD will have to come through the chicane here, and he will have to slow down when he gets to the penalty line. There he's got a 5-second penalty to serve. I think it wasn't the penalty that he was meant to have. I don't think, because I think it was an easy track to lose on. I said yeah. So I was right, wasn't I? So there we go. Yeah, so he just served that penalty now as VTOD, which of course it basically decelerates him there. He has to slow down and serve that 5 seconds. But I think potentially that 5 seconds might be removed from his time at the end of the race, of course, because I don't think there was anything he could do much about that. It was Babpanasso's car that was stricken in the middle of the circuit, and flying through that chicane system. If there's a car on the exit that you can't see until you get too close, when you come out that chicane system, there's a car in the way. Unfortunately, it is quite difficult to avoid it. And yeah, I don't think VTOD have much of a case there to try and get out of the way. And I think you can definitely have a case to appeal that penalty as well. Angel's in the pits though. He's going on to a new set of tyres. I think he started on the soft compound tyres here, it looks like. So we'll see if he's going to get a bit more fuel topped up in that car. He's got a bit of bumper damage as well on that car as well, so he needs to get that repaired. I think he has done it onto the racing softs now, and out he goes into P9. Masood has made another pit stop as well, so he's down into P10 at the moment. But here comes Reza. He's still got a 6.5 second gap. That gap is coming down slightly to DJ, so DJ's now pushing, I think, on those racing softs that he started on as well. Of course, Reza is on the racing mediums, so we'll be going longer in the first stint as well. So depending on the fuel lines, of course, because obviously if your tyres run out and but you've got no fuel, you need to pit for new tyres. You don't need to pit for fuel, of course, but sometimes it works the other way around. So you might need to top up for fuel, but not need the tyres. So you need to make sure the strategy is a bit more difficult to try and get right in this one. As Hodgson has dropped off the back of Dan Murphy, so I'm not quite sure what's happened there. He might have had a bit of a spin there in that skyline. Into the pits he goes. So VTOD now will be able to catch up a bit on the leaders, on the top 5 that is as well. So hopefully he can get himself back in the order, at least get himself back in for a shout on the podium here. So good stuff from VTOD as well. Babpanasso recovered after that incident right here on the exit of the chicane to get himself back into P7, but he's being chased down now by Ashik, who of course did pit as well at the very beginning or the very end of the first lap. So now Ashik trying to chase him down. Evening all from Vintage. Good evening to you. That's not very nice from Serious Buckle. Good evening to yourself, Vintage, as well. Hopefully one day we can get Vintage into the GT7 cars as well. I think the only issue you've got there, Vintage, is that you need to unlock the multiplayer, so you need to play the story a bit more. But yeah, you basically have to. I think it's you go to the cafe and go to the which sounds quite odd. Go to the cafe and go to the menu logs, or menu books, or whatever they're called. And then you have to play through to level 8, I think it is, or level 9, and then you get the multiplayer unlocked, and then you can of course join us for a few races as well. Oh, Mohammed there having a massive smash there. We saw where Babpanasso had his incident there. He needs to get himself out of the way quickly there as well, because the cars are going to be coming through. Mohammed there recovering the car, but luckily had a big gap there to VTOD in P5. And now trying to get the car back underway, but that is a lot of damage there for Mohammed's Genesis GR3. You can see the effects of that smash to that car. Yeah, as just confirming. Yeah, so like I said, yeah, I think yeah, I'm not quite sure. I can't remember how you do it, but yeah, basically just need to you just basically need to play the story mode for a little bit for a few levels, and then once you've done a few races, then you get the tactics and multiplayer. As Mohammed there coming in to repair that car, I think that is a very costly mistake there from Mohammed coming through that chicane system, and then he's going to have to definitely get some repairs, maybe go on to a new set of tyres. It looks like he's got some tyres ready to change onto, and we'll see what that is when he gets back out on track. VTOD now back up to P4. Good stuff from VTOD. Like I said, he started on pole position, and he had a bit of a problem there because he was, of course, right behind Payaso on lap 1. And Payaso had pretty much the same incident that Mohammed just had in the chicanes. And once he got it going again and get it repaired, he's now back up to P4 within 4 laps as well. So good stuff from VTOD. It just shows he's got the pace around here. Of course, he should have the pace because he was on pole position as well. So it shows he's got the pace in that one as well. So he's just going to try and gain on the top 3 now. Dan Murphy in the podium places as he is in the standings as well. DJ, they're doing a good job in P2. And now Reza there taking the lead. He's now 8.5 seconds. So I think maybe DJ has either had a bit of an incident there, or Reza has decided to put his foot down a bit more, go a bit faster. Naeem has actually got a livery, says Mushy, not a serious mushroom, I should say, as Reza there sets the fastest lap, a 38.773, so almost as fast as qualifying lap there, so that's pretty good. So Hodgson there up into P6 now. Mohammed was somebody in the comments. Yes, so he has got a livery now. He's got a big N on the side of his car, but he's going to have to slow down, I think, once he comes through the chicane system here. Because he's got a 4.5 second penalty that he picked up, I think, because of the smash that he had on this exact corner. He has managed to make it through this time, and that car is almost repaired there, it seems. But he's going to be slowing down now as here goes Hodgson there up at P5, which of course the penalty situation is Hodgson's out, so he's not going to be able to get through in that car number 46, it looks like, which is good stuff because they've got a car number on there, so you can tell. VTOD's got to catch them all, says Ayrton. Yes, get your Pokemon quips and comments into the comment section. Yeah, he's got to catch them all. I did say that in qualifying if you were listening as well. Yeah, so he's got to catch up to catch them all and get the win. Although that is not good stuff from VTOD there. He needs to keep it on the track to do that as well. So yeah, unfortunately VTOD pushing a bit too hard there in the Pokemon car. Needs to slow himself down into those orders before he has another accident. But yeah, he's 40 seconds off the lead at the moment, but of course has made an extra stop compared to the likes of the top 3. So yeah, so there's still room for improvement, and of course room to gain for VTOD as well. Let's have a look further down the order. Bam Payaso is now dropped down to P10, having a great start, but starting at P4 up into P1 before the first corner as well was Bam Payaso. Now unfortunately is down at the bottom of the point in P10 as it stands at the moment. So yeah, Reza now takes the lead. He's really extending that gap now to DJ. 12 seconds is the gap now. But I think DJ might be having a bit of problems there on those soft compound tyres, because they are, of course, he started on the softs, so they're going to dry out a bit quicker. VTOD use quick attack. Good stuff indeed. There we go. They're flying in now. That's what we need. Fan boost caught him out, says Serious Mushroom. Unfortunately, there's no fan boost. Well, there's no fan boost that we know of. Maybe there is a secret fan boost. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, VTOD, like I said, we saw the pace from him in the qualifying practice from that, so we'll no doubt see him catch up to the front of the pack as well in this one. But yeah, looking to see if hopefully that Supra can get himself back up the order. Hodgson there in his box car, as I call it, the Skyline, is in P5 now, starting from P8, I think it was. So looking to improve there on his standing performance. Of course, he's currently the championship leader as well. But as it stands, with Reza leading the way in this race, he would lose the lead of the championship based on Reza getting the maximum points that he has got available to him. Hodgson, of course, has got the fastest lap now, 37.910, so that's an extra point for Hodgson as well. But at the moment, still mathematically, it is Reza taking the championship lead on round 5, as I think he's just lapped Bam Payaso. Bam Payaso's had a bit of trouble there, keeping the car going there, but he's not got any damage on that car, so hopefully he can crack on and keep it going. As yeah, he's definitely trying. Says yeah, good stuff indeed. But like I said, the gaps seem to have stabilised. Now DJ decided to come into the pits, he decided to get off those soft format tyres, and he's dropped down past behind Dan Murphy. Now Dan Murphy takes P2, of course, with DJ's pit stop. I think V-Todd might come through and maybe steal that P3 as well, potentially, but we'll see how quick the mechanics can be for the Coca-Cola themed Mustang. Let's have a look and see what he can do. He is going to be going out, he's behind V-Todd now. V-Todd is coming through down the main straight and takes P3, so back on the podium is V-Todd. Good stuff indeed from him, and looks like Hodgson's going to come through as well. V-Todd taking a long time to get that fuel topped up, and hopefully he can get out onto the track very shortly. Mohammed is going to be too far back to get that P5, and DJ now going onto the medium compact tyres. He's got 3 seconds there, I think, for cutting the pit entry line, unfortunately for him, so that's going to be served, of course, when he gets past the chicanes in sector 3. Solari said well done to Reza as well. Reza's doing a good job so far. He's got a 20-second gap in the lead. He's really pulled that gap out in the last few laps as well, because the drivers were sticking with him in the first few laps, but now it seems like Reza they're pulling away very quickly indeed, so looking good for Reza at the moment. Hodgson now gets himself up to P3 after, of course, DJ's pit stops. But here comes DJ now, of course, on the medium compact tyres with a full tank of fuel. He'll be going longer now in this part of the race. But Mohammed there is coming through as well. Mohammed has pit as well, so Mohammed and DJ we might see coming through the order very shortly to gain a few spots and maybe get themselves back in podium places as well. So stay tuned for that one. And it looks very close between the two of them as well. They're both going to be gaining on V-Todd, who's on the holder tyres and running out of fuel there in his Toyota Supra. You can see there the Mustang appearing in the background as the V-Todd goes through the chicane system. Here he comes through the first one, and now the second. We'll see the Mustang appear in the background very shortly as well. There it is now, but of course he's got a penalty now as DJ's got the 3-second bonus to slow the car down, and now Mohammed takes that P5. But of course the penalty situation does play a factor in this race, and has affected a few drivers already so far. And DJ now dropping down to P6, looking to get back after Mohammed to get that P5 back before chasing down V-Todd for P4 as well. Pace Reza all the way to the end, says Solari. It looks like he's gaining pace on this one at the moment. He's up into 23 second lead now. That's pretty good there from Reza, flying through the chicanes there and keeping it on track very nicely indeed. He's definitely doing a good job in this one. 24 seconds down the gap, he's really pushing, and I think he might be due a pit stop very soon, because those tyres are starting to wear now and the fuel level is getting a bit low, so I think we might see a pit stop coming very shortly. Dan Murphy has also got a bit of a fuel issue coming as well. The tyres are in a bit of better condition than Reza's though, so maybe he's not been pushing too hard and just trying to conserve on the first stint. Reza carries on. So what do I know about pit stops? So there we go. As DJ now putting the pressure on Mohammed. Mohammed is going to be fighting for that P5 now. The Mustang is bearing down as they come through the final, or the first few corners, I should say, because I thought we were in the final corner there. But no, we're coming down towards sector 2 now, into the hairpin. Can DJ make a move there on the inside? On the outside, he's trying to shave up for a move here. It looks like it's going to be very close between the two of them now. They're side by side, I think, here. And here comes DJ now up into P5. He's got the move done through the first part of the chicane, and he's I think he's done it. He's up into P5 now. Of course, Mohammed there will try and fight back at him, of course. But I think that is the Mustang up into P5 now, and the Genesis dropping down to P6 for now, of course. But we'll see how it all changes later on in the session. Of course, there's going to be changes throughout all of the drivers, I think, because apart from Reza maybe, because he's flown up in the distance. But everyone will, of course, will have different strategies, different fuel levels, and that sort of thing that they will have to deal with as the race goes on. V-Todd, as you sort of can see now, probably DJ in the mirrors now, as they come through turn 1 now in the Mustang. And of course we'll see V-Todd, I think, maybe put under a bit of pressure in a few laps or so from DJ here as well. He's already got a gap of 2 seconds to Mohammed there, so really pushing out a gap there to the driver in P6. Sheik is jumping into the pits. He is coming in from I think it was P8 he was in. I think Hartley just jumped in as he came into the pit entry onto a new set of tyres, and needs to get a bit more fuel in that tank. I think he might come out just behind Valparaiso here, unless Valparaiso is pitting. No, he's carrying on. So I think Sheik will drop down to P10. Sheik then had a bit of a off qualifying for himself, by his standards that is. So yeah, maybe he'll come back in this one. But here comes Dan Murphy now. Both Dan Murphy and Reza from P1 and P2 are into the pits. Hodgson, I think, maybe we'll follow them in. We'll find out. Let's have a look here. But yeah, both on the medium compound tyres was Dan Murphy and Reza. We'll have a look at him, see what tyres Reza's going to go on to as he comes out of the pits. That is. I think Hodgson here, will he come into the pits or will he carry on? He's going to come in as well. So he's going to bring that Skyline into the garage and get himself topped up with a new set of tyres and a bit more fuel as well. But Vitod there coming back into this race now. You can see the drivers ahead of him are in the pits, so that is going to be helpful for Vitod. You can see that he can get himself up into P2, back into P2, I should say. But after he lost the lead, I think, on the first lap to Valparaiso, he is back into P2 now. He's 13.5 seconds behind Reza as well. DJ has got himself up into P3 as Mohammed has got himself up into P4. Dan Murphy coming out of pits now in P5 onto the medium compound tyres. And Hodgson is taking a while to get himself refueled there, but should come out. I think he's going to come out ahead of. Is he going to come out ahead of Angel there? I think just going to be very close here between these two. Here comes Angel down the main straight. You can see that Suzuki VGT coming through now. Can he get the move into turn one? He's going to be side by side. He's going to be very close with the pace of Angel, though. The extra pace, of course, coming out down the main straight rather than coming out the pits. He's got that move done. It's going to be side by side once again still as they come through. And Hodgson there battling very closely. It's a very similar thing between these two. So that was very confusing. But I think one of them is tastier than the other. In terms of the M&M themed one, but I think Hodgson then just slotting into P7. He's going to go side by side on the exit here with Angel as well. Now down the hill they come into the next corner. I think it's left hand, we'll say. So that is going to favour Hodgson as well. Hodgson now up to P6 after getting those tyres warmed up, and he is back underway now. Angel dropping down to P7. Angel's not yet made a pit stop there, so those soft compound tyres he's on are very worn out at the moment, and the fuel level is getting low, so he will have to make a stop very soon. But Valparaiso is also in the pits. He's just coming back out now. Vitod has got himself into P2, but he's coming into pits now as DJ was about to put the pressure on and try and get past down the main straight. But DJ has got that position anyway. He's now up into P2. Is DJ. Good stuff indeed from him. Vitod will pop into the pits, and Mohammed will follow him in as well. Dan Murphy, of course, we just saw pit on the last lap, so Dan Murphy will retain his podium place and get himself back into third as well. Good stuff from him. Good battle for sixth there, says Solari as well. Yeah, it was a very good battle indeed between Angel and Hodgson as well. Good stuff for both of them. Hodgson now gets himself up to P4 after getting past Angel as well, but he is now slotted himself nicely into P5, although has not made a pit stop just yet so far in this race, but he's done a good job of maintaining that fuel level. We can go into lap 12. We are 20 minutes in, finally, 20 minutes in already. That's been me talking for so long that I've somehow rambled on for 20 minutes so far. Of course, just to recap, we're going to have it's an hour endurance race every Tuesday night, and of course we have a short qualifying practice format before that, so that everyone can get their eye in, and of course get their fastest times on board for from sorting out the grid order. And then of course we're into a 1 hour endurance race, which we're into now. We've got 21 minutes done, so we've got 39 minutes left if my maths is correct. But there we go. Let's have a look at who it is to use the closest battle on track. I think it's between these two here. Vitod has I think is he come back into pits? He has had a pit stop there as Vitod. We did see that. We did see him come into pits, of course, on the last lap, only a few seconds ago, and I've already forgotten about it. But he's come back out in P7 right behind Mohammed as well, but has a 3-second penalty there to serve. So looks like he's had a bit of trouble there somewhere. I think maybe similar to what DJ had, where he had a bit of a misdemeanor on the entry to the pit lane, coming across the line, which of course is a no-no. Of course, when you cross the pit lane, entry. That Suzuki looks nice. It says Mushroom. Which Suzuki? I think it's Angel's Suzuki there, the M&M themed one. Looks tasty to me. So yeah, making me very hungry for the for the end of this race, because now I want to go buy some M&Ms. So there we go. So yeah, I want to go play Pokemon. because of course VTOD has got a very nice Pokemon themed livery there for his Toyota Supra, and then also I want to go and eat some M&Ms, so I'm going to have to do both at the same time, I think. But we did have, I think we had a Minecraft livery on the grid at one point in the last few rounds, and we had what else? We had a couple of Monster Energy liveries as well. So yeah, the more entertaining the livery, the better it is for me, because it makes me hungry, thirsty, I want to play something. So there we go. A Sheik there is going to come through, I think, Angel there into the pits from those soft compound tyres. He's done a great stint on those tyres, 12 laps on those soft compound tyres now, and yeah, coming into the pits now to get a bit more fuel on board, as he's almost run out of fuel as well, and get that topped up, dropping down to P9 as it stands at the moment. I think he'll be out into P9 as well. He's coming up a bit right now onto the medium compound tyres. He's going to be going long in this stint. Some good stuff from him. Where is the next one we want to see? As I think it's actually going to be, we're going to have to sit on board with one of these drivers. I think here Hodgson is bringing that gap down to Dan Murphy for the final podium spot. Here comes the Skyline Super Silhouette. Like I said, I think it was actually Mini Ramsel who drove this in one of the previous races, and it had a Minecraft livery on as well, as I was talking about. So yeah, it's a box car is absolutely perfect for a Minecraft livery on that one, in my opinion. So there we go, as he does set the fastest lap as well of the race, 37.724, and so that's going to be an extra point for Hodgson as well, wherever he finishes in this one. Will be a good result for him nonetheless, because of course starting from the back of the grid, I think he was starting P8, Dan Murphy was starting in P10, and DJ was starting in P9, so both the drivers who started at the back so far doing a good job. Ooh, sorry. But like I said, I think the strategies might unfold in some different ways, of course, as we'll see as everyone comes back through. But VTOD now looking to go long on the mediums once again in this one. We are coming up to halfway through on lap 14. So like I said, I predicted about 35 laps based on a 1 minute 40 lap or so. So I predicted 35, 36 laps. We'll have to see if I'm right, because usually I am quite close, but usually also my math is important. So one day I'll get it right, and then one day I will get it horrifically wrong. So there we go. Let's go back on board with Hodgson. He's brought that gap down to Dan Murphy to just over 3 seconds now. He's really plowing on through those chicanes as well. He's kept it in line very nicely there as well. Dan Murphy will see the skyline of Hodgson coming into his wing mirrors very soon, and might have to start preparing for a battle with the box car. Yeah, we'll see, of course, how the strategies do unfold. Of course, Hodgson on the soft compound tyres, but there we go, Dan Murphy on the medium compound tyres. So Dan going for a more leisurely, not leisurely, I suppose, because they're going pretty fast, but a more conservative approach in terms of the tyre wear and the management of those tyres as well. So Hodgson there really going for it at this stage of the race as well. So yeah, like I said, it really is all up in the air at this stage of the race, because we don't know what the strategy is going to be or what the order is going to be when we get to that final lap, to be honest. And like we saw in the final lap of the last race in the French village, or French Alsace village, I should say, we saw the lead of the race change and the win of the race go to Hodgson with less than I think it was about a quarter of a second was the gap between himself and Reza at the very last finish of the final lap, I should say, of the French Alsace race, round 4. What an intense race that was, and it was a great finish indeed between the two. Great battles indeed all the way through as well. Here comes Hodgson. He's bearing down now for that podium place. You can see now the gap under 2 seconds. It was 3 seconds, just over 3 seconds at this point on the last lap. So he's gaining almost a second, or over a second and a half almost per lap on this occasion. He looks like he might be gaining even more on that one, as it's now down into the 1.7s now, as here comes the skyline. You can see the McLaren, you can see his target right ahead of him. Dan Murphy can see his attacker behind him in his mirrors as they come around. Oh, a bit of a slip there through the final quarter of Hodgson there, costing a bit of time there, only a tenth or two. But yeah, in the mirrors of the McLaren now is the skyline coming down into turn 1. And yeah, like I said, he's going to be trying to buy his time now. Unfortunately, that incident there on the final corner for himself Just lost a bit of concentration, I think, maybe, and needs to get himself back in the right frame of mind. But he's already brought that gap down. Look at him go. He's gained half a second there through the first chicane, I should say, turns 2 and 3. And yeah, doing a good job is Hodgson to bring that gap down. He's got that podium in his sights. Can he get that podium from Dan Murphy? I don't think Dan Murphy will want to give it to him, but like I said, we'll have. I don't think he might not have much choice, to be fair, because it looks like Hodgson is going for it on this stint. Really going to try and get himself into the podium places in the Skyline Super as well, as it stands at the moment. This is the closest battle on track, I believe. Let me just go and have a quick check just around the order before I say that's wrong. As Hodgson now is within 1 second of Dan Murphy for P3. It's getting tense, it's getting close now between these two. The final podium place is up for grabs, and it looks like Hodgson has, of course, he's not the fastest lap as well. That's an extra point for him as well when that race finishes, if he has that still. Whoever holds the fastest lap at the end of the race will, of course, get that extra point. As Dan Murphy had an issue there through the chicane system, unfortunately for him. He's going to have a penalty there to serve as well. I think for that collision with the wall there, and he comes through and serves that. No, he doesn't. For some reason, he doesn't want to serve it. But I would have thought he would have served it automatically, as it looks like, I think it was Mohammed. No, it's Ashik there behind him, who has been lapped, so we can get past Dan Murphy for the lead lap. But yeah, unfortunate incident there for Dan. I'm not quite sure what happened. The DJ in the pits once again, so he decided to come in off those medium compound tyres that he was on previously and get a new tank of fuel in that car. Dan Murphy has regained composure there. He's got himself back going again, and of course has still got his podium place as it stands with DJ having a pit stop there. So DJ was in P2, that's dropped him down to P5 I think at the moment. Todd might come through and try and pinch that P5 away from DJ as well. I don't think so. I think DJ's going to come out back again in P5. He's not touched that tank too much though. He's not fueled it up to the max. But he's back out on the soft compound tyres now with DJ in P5. Dan Murphy there recovering. He's lost 7 seconds there to Hodgson there. Hodgson, it was unfortunately, so we saw thing from Bad Paso and from V Todd, I think it was. No, it wasn't V Todd. I think it was from Mohammed, wasn't it? In that chicane system, it was very easy to lose it through there. As I said to Serious Russian in the comment section, it is a very difficult track and a very easy track to lose the car. I think Ashik there trying to do his best to try and get past it. I think he will get past it anyway when Dan comes through to serve that penalty. So his car will automatically slow down at the penalty line, and then Ashik will be able to go through and regain that, or get back onto the lead lap ahead of Dan Murphy, that is. Of course, he's been lapped by Reza and Hodgson as well, P1 and P2, as it stands at the moment. So yes, here we go. So yeah, Dan there serving the penalty now, as it looks like Ashik has been released. Unfortunately for Dan there, I think that penalty again might be able to be removed if he wants to get that sent in to the reports as well, same as V Todd's penalty as well from the first lap. So yeah, like I said, we'll have to re-look at that, of course, get that looked into and sorted as well. But there we go. Unfortunately, good incident there, but he's managed to carry on very nicely indeed. Still in the podium places as well, which is good stuff. That front bumper needs a bit of fixing as well, it looks like, but he's staying out now is Dan Murphy, and I think that might get himself sorted over time. Mohammed is into pits from P4, DJ gets his P4 back, and I think V Todd, if he carries on as well, I think V Todd will be carrying on, will get up to P5 as well once again, and good recovery drive from V Todd indeed. So Mohammed there, he has got a nice little bit more delivery there. He's gone through the design a bit more detailed this time than previous races. Good stuff from him as well. But like I said, getting a bit more fuel on board, as Hartley has jumped up to P6 as well now in the Genesis car. But of course, I think we'll have to make another pit stop very soon. Mohammed there will come out. Will he come out ahead of Angel? I think he will, just about. It'll be very close, I think, though, as he comes round, I should say, the final couple of corners. Angel's jumped up to P7, but now I think Angel has got the move done. No, it's quite close. It's going to be very tight on the pit exit. I think Mohammed there dropping into P8 now as Angel there comes through in the M&M themed Suzuki to take P7. Good stuff indeed, and like I said, every time I look at this car, it makes me hungry. So there we go. I think he's done a good job on that livery as well. If he's done that all himself, to get that design absolutely spot on, in my opinion, some good stuff from Angel having that on the grid. It makes me hungry, but it also makes me smile because it looks good indeed. Hodgson is into the pits there from P2. He's called it a day on those soft compound tyres. Dan Murphy will take back P2 as well now as he gets himself back underway. But of course DJ I think might be trying to get back into the podium places as well. Coming around the final corner is the Mustang in P4 currently, but can he get past Hodgson for P3? Looks like he can as he comes down the main straight to take back that podium place. So he's setting his sights now on Dan Murphy. Reza's got a 1 minute lead, which is quite good indeed. But of course we think Reza might have to make a pit stop very soon. We'll have a look at the leader because we haven't really spectated him at all so far in this race. He's been that far out in front, but he's on the racing mediums there and he's got a bit more fuel to go, but I think he might need to come in for a pit stop very shortly as VTOD does take back the P4 position. But of course it looks like Hodgson there onto the racing softs will be and a full tank of fuel will be getting after him, only 2.5 seconds behind. We'll see a change in position I think there very shortly for P4 as Hodgson will be going great guns to try and get himself back up into the podium places. Didn't see what that said, but I would recommend not typing and racing just for health and safety reasons. There we go. So yeah, Hodgson is going to be the I think the next driver forward. A bit of a slip there from Hartley, just getting himself sorted on track. As I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I think somebody has left. I think it's Cheap has left the session. I'm not sure what's happened to him. Hopefully he's all right. I didn't see what happened there in the comment section. Let's have a look at the chat. Oh, we can't see. So. Anyway, carrying on back to the commentary, which was what I should be paying attention to, is Hodgson now on the back of VTOD there in the Supra, coming through into the final corner. I think Hodgson lining up a move now into the final corner. Here can he make a move into the braking zone? He's going down the inside. It's going to be close. I think he's got that move done. He's up into P4. VTOD has lost the car. I think. That was close. That was very close indeed. I think VTOD almost losing the car completely. I don't think he had to worry that much because I think either way Hodgson was going to come through. So I think VTOD, if he just carries on normally, he'll be able to get himself within a shout of podium here as well. Nonetheless, in the latter stages of this race, of course. Reza is into the pits from the lead of the race, of course. So now he's getting off those medium compound tyres and getting a bit more fuel on board as well. So he can go maybe to the end of this race. We'll see what he goes on to. I think he might choose another set, I should say, medium compound tyres. So we'll find out. Let's have a look as Angel's also in the pits as well. From P7 he's dropped down to P8 now because of course Mohammed has got through. And I think it was a Sheik there for some reason who has who's decided to drop out of the race, unfortunately for him, or maybe he's had a bit of an internet issue and now is out of the race. As Reza there just topping up the fuel tank still. Dan Murphy coming through towards the final corner, but he's already out of the pit lane is Reza, so he's going to retain quite a substantial lead still. So yeah, looking good for Reza as it stands at the moment. DJ is bearing down on Dan Murphy, trying to get past it. Of course, DJ using his famous strategy calls of using the soft compound tyres at every race. As Dan is into the pits there, he needs a bit more fuel in that McLaren 650S. DJ takes P2. Hodgson will come through for P3. He's just lapped Bal Paso, I think it was, in P9 there. So that is Bal Paso. Like I said, Bal Paso still in for a shout with 2 points here at least. Because of course, unfortunately for Sheik, he's decided not to take part in this race anymore, or has had a bit of an issue with his internet. Has kicked him out of the session so far, so hopefully he can get himself back in. I'm not sure if he can get himself back in and then rejoin the race once you've gone. I think that's it, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame. But VTOD there is putting the pressure on. Now Hodgson there has come back out, got back into P3, I should say. But now VTOD in P4 has got a lapped car of Paso. I think it is in between the two of them, in between his target. As Dan Murphy coming out of the pits now into P5 onto the medium compound tyres and with a full tank of fuel on board as well. Mohammed takes back P6 as Masood Hartley is in the pits. Will Angel be able to get through as well? I don't think so. I think he's way too far back, unfortunately. And that Suzuki driver has got a 1.5 second penalty there as he's been lapped as well by DJ. then hopefully everybody is okay. But like I said, I think Sheik there just put a comment into the section there, so yeah, like I said, it should be all good hopefully. Track position is really determined by racing strategy and tyre choices, not to get the driver's skills. Well, I think you need a bit of skill, to be fair, to be able to win the races and to put it into the positions that you need to get the points. But Reza has got that in an abundance, it seems, as well. He's done a great job in the few races that we've had so far. So yeah, he's been doing a great job in that Genesis GR3 car as well. Reza could put it in first, and put it in first and win now. So serious pressure. Yeah, I think he's barring anything going wrong, which touch wood it doesn't. Reza is on for a win here, and it'll be a good win as well, starting P3. And like I said, having the issue with the issues that have had the other drivers, hopefully Reza doesn't have any issues himself and can get to that finish line in the lead as it stands. But DJ might have something to say about it. Of course, he would love to say something about it as well and get himself onto the top set. That is, as a Sheik has joined the room, but I don't think he can now take part in the race, unfortunately, as we've already got underway. As Hodgson there is now into P3, Dan Murphy out onto the fresh medium compound tyres and full tank of fuel as well. So we'll be setting his sights on trying to gain on Hodgson as well. I think there's quite a big gap there. There's a 35-second gap. It might be very close. I think if there's another pit stop for Hodgson, we'll have to wait and see if there's enough time left on the board as well. We've got just over 20 minutes to go, so almost 2/3 of the way through. Let's have a look and see if or who is going to be the closest battle on track. I think it's going to be between these two here, as Mohammed and Dan Murphy are trying to bring themselves further up the order. I think though Dan Murphy is edging that gap now to Mohammed as DJ is into the pits once again. He's already burned through quite a lot of those soft compound tyres as a DJ, so he's really going through them quickly. And now into the pits comes the Mustang now for a new set of tyres and a bit of a top up on the fuel as well. Let's see what he's going to go on to this time. He needs to get those tyres to last a bit longer, I think, and the fuel load as well, because he's really burnt through the fuel on this occasion. But I think coming into pits now and getting a new set of tyres, getting some more fuel on board, as we saw from his last pit stop. He didn't fill the tank up last time, and that is probably why he's having to come in so early on this stint as well. Hodgson there takes P2 now away from DJ. I think Dan Murphy might come through. Will Dan Murphy be able to get ahead of DJ here? I don't think so. It's going to be close. No, I think Dan Murphy is going to be slightly into P4 there behind DJ for now. Mohammed coming through in P5, looking quite spread out now is the grid order at the moment. But here comes VTOD there. VTOD in P6. Unfortunately, we had it on pole position was VTOD. Been very unlucky on the first lap there to be involved in that incident. There's nowhere for him to go, and there was a car right in the middle of the track in front of him, so he had nothing to. He couldn't react in time, I don't think, to actually be able to get out of the way. Unfortunately for VTOD, he's going to be lapped very shortly by the leader, the race leader, of course, Reza, in that Genesis GR3 car as well. But nonetheless, VTOD, I think, an outstanding drive as well from him as well today, because he's got some great pace in that car, and he's not too far away, to be fair, having made that pit stop from Mohammed, from Dan Murphy as well. So potentially, if those guys had to make a stop as well, we might see VTOD getting back into that order. DJ might be in a bit of threat as well, 5 seconds only ahead of Dan Murphy. So like I said, it could come back for VTOD here. We could see him back on the podium places potentially at the end of this race. But of course, he needs to adhere to the blue flags, I think, because Reza is coming at him. But I think just trying to make sure he lets him bite in the right place, rather than getting in trouble with the authorities, of course. But I think that Genesis GR3 car might be getting a bit impatient behind VTOD now, as he will probably be wanting to get himself back through so that he can get after extending that gap that he has at the moment, which is 37 seconds to be fair. So he's got plenty of time in the back to lose, has Reza. But I think he just wants to make sure that he can get himself through comfortably as well as VTOD. They're coming back, but I think he's going to be slotting behind now the Hyundai of Reza. There we are, I've got 3 drivers right in a row, unfortunately on different laps. Valparaiso at the back there in P9, 2 laps down. VTOD is 1 lap down, and then the leader of Reza, who is on the lead lap of course. So yeah, it's a bit different between the drivers there. Hodgson out into P2, looking very comfortable as it stands at the moment, which is good stuff from him. But around the order, it seems like everybody else has stabilised at least to keep the gaps quite even as well. Right then, we are on lap 24. Am I on time for my calculations to be correct? We've got about 17 minutes to go. 17 minutes, and I'm going to say 17 minutes. We're going to do, let's say, maybe 8 or 9 laps. Maybe a bit less than 35 laps to be completed tonight. We'll find out, of course, when that final counter gets to its final point of 1 hour. That is, and like I said, we'll then be able to crack on with the well, I'll be able to find out, I should say, with what the final result will be. I was going to say we'll crack on with the race then, but I don't want to do another race after this one. Well, maybe the drivers might do. It's been a very good race indeed from the guys that have been participating so far. DJ doing a good job once again to try and get in that podium position, and he's back onto his racing softs as well, so that's his favourite type of tyre, and that Mustang is kitted out with the soft compound tyres once again to go as fast as he can as well now around this track. Will he be able to make it to the final line if with those tyres intact and with a bit more fuel on board? I think he might be very close to running out of fuel again. Good DJ, so maybe Dan Murphy might be on for a podium shout here still as well, which would be a good result with Dan after the incident as well. So looking good indeed at the moment. Elsewhere, we've got Angel there flying through the chicanes there in his M&M mobile. Delicious. So good indeed. No penalties for him to serve, so that is him flying through very nicely indeed as well. Looks like Valparaiso and Angel are the only 2 who've been lapped completely. I think Masood Hartley has been lapped as well, and I think he's gone for the Mohammed themed livery as well. Very basic with just the letter of his name on the side. There we go, good stuff indeed. Out in the lead, Reza has already got a 36-second gap. But I think they actually might be able to extend that even further. So it looks like Hodgson might have to make a pit stop before Reza does, and therefore it will mean that the gap will need to actually extend rather than decreases. But we'll have to find out when the driver has decided to call it a day on these tyres, when those fuel tanks run out completely and they need to get some more topped up. Bicycle is very extortionate nowadays, so they need to be careful. They need to try and conserve their fuel tanks as much as possible in my opinion. We are just about to head into the final 15 minutes, so we've had 45 minutes so far, 15 minutes to go. Like I said, it's going to start unfolding now, I would imagine. The types of strategies everyone's going to go on to, of course, if they're going to be making their pit stops, I would imagine it'll be their final pit stops now of the race, and then they'll be gunning it towards the end of the session. So, like I said, if we see anything happening now, it will be the change. We've got blue flags, I should say, from Mohammed, but there's nobody that close around him, unfortunately. Fortunately, I should say. So yeah, not quite sure why the blue flag's flashing there, but nonetheless, we'll carry on. I think it might be for of course we saw Reza getting past VTOD, so it might be for the lap car of Mohammed there, or Reza coming through. I think it might be as well. It is. There he is, I should say. It looks like Valparaiso having a bit of trouble there, and it's been overtaken once again by VTOD, once again getting himself back on the track. But he just needs to make sure he gets to the finish line, because of course he's still got points on offer for Valparaiso. Reza there flying through the chicane now, 37-second gap, holding that quite comfortably now at the moment, and it's looking good for him as it stands at the moment as well. Good stuff from Reza. Hodgson did a great job actually on those soft compound tyres for E2 at the moment. Like I said, I think you will have to make another stop, because I don't think they'll be able to get that those tyres, and especially not that tank of fuel to the end of the race with almost 14 minutes to go still. I think that that tank of fuel will need topping up a bit to get to the end of this race. DJ might be able to get to the end. I think potentially it might be a bit of a tight one. He needs to save a bit of fuel there, but probably DJ will be looking to make another pit stop anyway. I think he's gone to the soft on the tyres because that's his favourite strategy call. And yeah, so he'll be putting for softs every time, and then going great guns to the next time he has to stop, which will hopefully be very shortly, because then he'll be able to carry on to the end of the race on the final stint, that is. We're still getting the blue flags there. You can see Reza in the background there, so that'll be what the blue flags are for, flashing for both one Genesis car ahead of the other car. But unfortunately this is not for position, it is to be lapped, unfortunately for Mohammed, so that will put him down off the lead lap now, so that will mean that he'll be finishing one lap less than Reza, of course. Vitod was looking to bring that gap down to Mohammed, but it's now up to 11 seconds. Vitod trying to keep it on track as well. He's seemed like it's a bit of difficulty as well at the moment, but he's doing a good job there in P6. Like I said, we saw the pace from him in qualifying, getting it on pole position as well. So looking good was Vitod, but hopefully he can get some power from that Pokemon car and get himself back into potentially a point scoring. He's in a point scoring position, but a podium scoring position potentially. Potentially we can get some good points in this one still. So yeah, nothing going to. It was a bit of a poor start, unfortunately, for Vitod. No fault of his own as well, like I said earlier. But yeah, getting himself back in the order now and getting himself after the drivers ahead of him as well. He should be with a shout with some of these all the points. We're on to lap 28 now, and yeah, we're getting towards, I think we've got 11 minutes left now. Is that 11 or is it 12? No, it's 11 minutes left now coming up. So yeah, we're almost in the final 10 minutes now. Will there be any last minute pit stops from the drivers? And of course, how will it affect them as well? Hodgson is coming in now. We can just see him coming in through the final corner now as well into the pit lane. And that is him from P2 there, coming in to get himself topped up. That fuel was completely, I think he ran out of fuel completely on that car. So that'll be him definitely needing a bit of a top up there to get himself to the end of the race. DJ, I think, will be able to potentially claim that P2 back. He's quite far behind. He might be able to. We'll see as he comes around the final corner now, sliding himself through. Have a look here as he comes down the main straight. Will he get out ahead of Hodgson? I think they're just still filling up that car for Hodgson. DJ has got the P2 now on track and gets himself into the second place, second point playing position as it stands at the moment. But of course, Hodgson will be coming out very shortly and on fresher soft compound tyres, and of course with a full tank of fuel. So he'll be going great guns to the end of this race. Dan Murphy down the main straight has got that P3 as well. So like I said, we'll see Hodgson trying to gain very quickly on the two drivers ahead of him. Here comes Babha, so he's unfortunately right behind him, but he's been lapped on this occasion. So I don't think it'll be too long before Hodgson can get away from him, as he's got a fresh set of soft compound tyres on that car and a full tank of fuel to burn in the last 10 minutes or 9.5 minutes or so of this race. There we can see the McLaren of Dan Murphy ahead of us as we ride on board with Hodgson as well. Down the hill he goes, and we set the sights on trying to get within that gap now of the McLaren and get himself back on the podium places. A good drive from Hodgson as well, nonetheless. Of course, starting in P8, I want to say P8. So yeah, he's done a great job so far in this one and got himself up into P4. Potentially even getting past Dan Murphy, and even more so if he can gain that 14 seconds or so that he's got to DJ, potentially get a P2 here. I think unfortunately for Hodgson as well, Reza is a bit too far out in the lead, but he will have to make a stop very shortly. Hodgson already on the back. He's within the 1 second window of Dan Murphy as well here. He's going to be pushing into the final corner. Can he make a move into the final corner? Dan Murphy going defensive now on the inside, but Hodgson going around the outside. I think might have made that move already. He's gone around the outside very nicely indeed, and he's got that move now into P3, into podium places. Dan Murphy coming into the pits now as well, so I think he's calling it a day on those medium compound tyres. Vitod coming through. Can he get himself through the chicane system? Can he get himself? Can he catch up? I should say, to Dan Murphy for P4 here. Would be a great recovery drive if VTOD, if he can do as well, as Reza has entered the pits from the lead lap. Of course, lap 30 we're on now, and we've got just over 8 minutes to go, so not very long to go now. DJ's burning through those soft compound tyres once again, and I think that's going to be an extra stop for DJ. So potentially we might see Hodgson actually do get a P2 here. It will be very close as VTOD has got past Dan Murphy P4, but now Dan Murphy back out onto track with a bit more fuel in the car and a fresh set of soft compound tyres to chase after VTOD now, who's on the medium compound tyres. He's still got quite a good tyre life and a bit more, just a bit less fuel in the tank than it's down to him. So VTOD might be able to put up a fight with a P4. Reza has put on the soft compound tyres and is on his way out of the pits now. DJ there starts himself through the complex of the chicanes and getting through into sector 3 now. Good stuff indeed from DJ, but I think that fuel light is flashing, so he'll be having to come into the pits very shortly. It looks like Hodgson is gaining massively on this lap. Hodgson is really pushing, of course, because he topped up that fuel tank and he's going great guns now to try and get himself into P2, but I think DJ might gift him that P2 anyway with a pit stop here. He is into the pits now, is DJ. He's called it a day on those soft compound tyres, and he needs a bit more fuel in that tank, so Hodgson will claim that P2 very nicely indeed. Up into P2 and he gets the fastest lap to boot as well. An extra point there for Hodgson as well, a 37.662. Good stuff indeed. Maybe DJ can get those softs on and go for a fastest lap as well, can try and beat that time and get himself into in an extra point as well. But here comes VTOD now. Dan Murphy all over the back of him, as we can see here. Dan Murphy now pushing VTOD for that P4 position. I think they'll come out behind, or they will be behind DJ when he comes out of the pits. He is coming out of the pits in P3. As they start down the main straight, sorry, I've gone off the wrong person now. VTOD has been passed, I should say, by Dan Murphy now. Down up into P4, and now VTOD dropping down to P5. But I think P5 might be confirmed pretty much for VTOD, as I think Mohammed is too far back to mount a charge in the latter stages of this race. We've got 6 minutes left to go. Mohammed just been lapped there by the leader Reza. So the only people who are the top four, or top five, of course Reza is the leader. The top five have not been lapped. Everybody else down from P6 onwards has been lapped in this race. So Reza has been going great guns now. He's got a bit of damage there to the front right, it looks like. It is flashing away, but nonetheless he's done a great job in this race. He's really controlled the pace, and he's had some great pace as well. And it's going to be, I think, a very easy, comfortable win for Reza here as well, potentially, unless something goes horribly wrong, but hopefully it doesn't. Hodgson there is in P2 now, of course, with the fastest lap as well. He set, once again, the fastest lap of 37.594. So that is going to cement his fastest lap point. Here comes DJ, of course, on a fresh set of softs as well, and a bit more fuel in that tank. He's going to try and use Alpasso for a bit of slipstream here, I think, as well. Can he get himself the fastest lap point, steal it away from Hodgson as well, and get himself into the extra point to boost him up the standings? Dan Murphy coming through now in P4. He's got a 4 second gap almost to VTOD now. So Dan Murphy looking comfortable for a top 4 position. VTOD in P5, Mohammed P6, and Hartley there in P7. And a good job on his first reserve appearance, of course. Like I said, he's got some difficult drivers to try and get contended with. They're very good people in this league. Like I said, I wouldn't be able to compete, of course. I'd be absolutely great to be in the one all the time. So, like I said, he's done a good job there. Has Hartley there, as has Angel as well in the lovely M&M car, and Bad Payaso there in P9 in the Dodge Viper as well. Penalty there for Reza, as I think he's coming into pitch. He's got a bit of damage there on that car. He's got a lot of damage on that car. That could be interesting there. It could be enticing for Hodgson, because of course he's going to be without any damage, with pretty new soft compound tyres and a lot of fuel on board. Can he maybe muster up a charge for the race win here? I think Reza might be in to try and get that car fixed a little bit, and I think it's going to be quite close, to be fair, as Reza coming out of the pits now. He's just starting to head into turn 1, and here comes Hodgson across the line. The gap is now just under 8 seconds it has really come down massively. I think Reza might have just had to have a pit stop there just to get himself phased into this race. Might have had an incident there, just taking his eye off the ball, a bit of lapse of concentration, unfortunately, for the race leader. He's got a 3-second penalty as well to boot. So that will be added on to his time when he, of course, gets to the deceleration line, which will narrow the gap even more to Hodgson. Hodgson is still on for a win here now. It looked like it was going to be Reza's an easy victory. I think I might have cursed him with the commentary there, saying that he was out for a comfortable win. And now look what I've done here. I've done a commentator's curse and put him under a bit more pressure than he probably wanted to be under at this stage of the race, with only less than 3 minutes to go now as well. This is going back to the round 4 where we had the Alsace Village race in France last week, where we had the race decided on the final corner, on the final lap, and by less than half a second as well. So it is going to be incredibly close indeed. This one, I think, as here comes Reza now to serve that penalty. He's going through the chicane system now. He's got a 3-second penalty to serve. He's 6 seconds ahead of Hodgson. That'll put the gap now down to 3 seconds or so. But it's going to get close. It's going to get tight, and I think it might be an interesting one, this one, as he comes through now. You can see in the background there is Hodgson. Reza is just coming into the final corner now, and here comes Hodgson. It's now down to 2 seconds the gap. Hodgson is getting himself interested in this battle here. He's looking to try and reignite the same battle that he had last week for the race lead on the final lap, for the win of this race as well, as Hodgson crosses the line there. It's 2.3 is the gap now. It is tight indeed. It's going to be an interesting finish for this one, I think, no doubt. We're just about to heat it up now with only less than a minute, or less than 2 minutes to go now, I should say. I can't quite see the time there. So yeah, it is getting spicy in this one, but I think Reza is going to be trying to get the power down to try and get himself further up the order. It looks like in terms of the fuel levels and the tyres, both drivers are okay, so they'll both be able to try and put the fuel down, put it to the max, and try and get after, try and create a gap for Reza, and try and get after Reza for Hodgson as well. So like I said, it's still played for 2.2 is the gap. It has been quite steady for the last few sectors after, of course, Reza served that penalty as well. So yeah, it's been quite steady since then. But we can see the gap coming down massively between the two of them over the last lap or so. And like I said, this is going to be enticing for the final stages of this race. We're into the final minute in just a few seconds' time. Now we're into the final minute here, and like I said, we've got 1 minute of racing left. And of course, whenever the checkered flag falls on the 1 hour, that is the we have to finish that. Oh, blimey, there was a car going very slowly there. I'm not quite sure who that was. I think it was Angel there trying to get out of the way there, but unfortunately he's got a penalty to serve. But now 1.8 is the gap between Reza and Hodgson. It is getting closer and closer as they enter. I think this will be the final lap, because of course you have to finish whichever lap you're on when you get to the line. As I think maybe DJ is guaranteed a P3 here, because I think the time will finish for him before he crosses the line on the end of his lap now. So that might be it for DJ. But out in the lead, 1.8, 1.7 is the gap now. It's coming down, or it's going back up. Well, it's going all over the place. Who is going to get this win? It's going to be another epic finish, says Solari in the chat as well. I think the Alsace Village race was definitely one to watch again in terms of watching the epic finish of this race. It looks like Hodgson is pushing that car to the maximum to try and get that lead, to try and get this win. But I think now he's just dropping back. I think he's might have realised he's carrying on once again. I think he's not going to have the pace, I don't think, on Reza to get to the end of this lap in the lead of the race. I think he's decided he might have running out of options, running out of tactics to try and get himself into the lead of this race. But he's not going to give up, as Angel has decided to leave the room, so that's not good. Reton has finished in P5, and there we go then. I think we're going to have the order classified now as well. I'm not quite sure what's happening here. Angel's going to be in P7, I think. But here comes Reza now, as we're going to come up to the line, the final corner. Here comes Reza, a 1.7 second gap. It's coming down slightly, but again into the final corner. I think Reza this time is going to be able to hold on to his race lead as he's going to cross the line in P1, and Hodgson there going to be in P2. What a fantastic race this has been. It's been an absolutely epic one as well, to be fair. Hodgson there in P2, Reza takes the win, DJ there P3, Dan Murphy P4, Vitold in P5, Mohammed in P6, I think Angel there was P7, Masood Hartley in P8, Payaso in P9, and Ashik there, who was, he did manage to get back into the session, but unfortunately wasn't going to take part in this race after unfortunately having issues trying to get back in. Has finished there in P10. Blimey, what a race. Well run to Reza, says Solaria in the comment section as well. Yeah, like I said, a great race there from Reza as well. Really good stuff indeed. And like I said, what a race that was. It was like I said, I thought it was going to be a comfortable one for Reza, but he made it a bit difficult for himself at the end there. But nonetheless, a fantastic race for us to watch, to spectate. Thank you very much for joining us as well in the comment section as well. So thank you for all your comments. And like I said, we'll be back next week. I think we've got the Circuit de Catalunya coming up in a week's time. So stay tuned for that. Of course, more HDE action will be available on this channel in Twitch, of course, in the over the next coming days as well, for more F1, for more FIFA, and for more HDE GT7 content as well. So stay tuned to that. Thanks very much for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.